Okay, I wanted to talk to you about hunting and how it changed over 20 years. And it's changed drastically. Back in the old days when I was in my 20s, and I'm 53 now, so what is that, 30 years ago? Um, when we went hunting, we would make a tree stand and we'd carry three 2x4s on our shoulders as we went out. We'd cut some trees down and we put them up. We tried to find a tree that grew up three ways. So you got three trees growing up. And we'd run our steps up, run our 2x4s around that triangle, and then put a platform on. Sometimes we'd make a couple trips carrying 2x4s, sometimes a piece of plywood. It would depend. And we'd have 20 of these all scattered through the wilderness somewhere we planned to hunt that fall. And because one tree stand to the next, deer move. We never wore ropes. We never had anything that tied us in. I mean, I don't know how many times I fell out of a tree. You'd fall asleep, fall out. I mean, I guess people were getting paralyzed. And they decided it had to be more safety. Didn't even think about it when you were younger. But nowadays, they have, when you climb a tree, they use a lineman's rope, which is like this here, which goes around the tree. And then this gadget, this silver thing you see here, that wasn't cheap. That was like $44. And then you figure you attach a carabiner to it, okay? So you're looking at what? 50, $60, carabiner, rope, and everything you need. And this keeps you safe when you go up the tree, and you can adjust it, okay, by how close you want to be to the tree with this thing. And that's our climbing gear, so that's kind of very important. So you got yourself a lineman's belt, and that was my first purchase to get all set up. And okay, I can put that around the tree. Then I needed what was referred to a lot of hunters call is a stick, which is this thing. And this is from huntingbeastgear.com, and you'll see how it's got the step here. It's got the step here, and then you'll see this wire thing. This it's called an aider. You'll step in here, up to the first step, then up to the next step, and you stand on top of it. And this thing hanging is the strap that you tie around the tree. So pretty simple. This thing is made really well, by the way. I got the gloves on because it's sharp. I don't want to get cut. But the stick, by a lot of hunters call them, is referred to as the 20-inch mini beast gear climbing stick. And it's all aluminum. It's well made, no moving parts. I mean, that thing's going to outlive me. Now, a lot of guys will buy four of those sticks. And you figure this stick, I mean, it was on sale for $90. Then you figure the aider I bought was another, I don't know, $15. But tax, shipping, by the time this thing was shipped, it was $130 plus the 15. I mean, you're into $150 stick. And that's one. Now, a lot of guys will carry four of those. And they'll attach them and climb up the tree and get up there 15, 20 feet. You can also do what's called saddle hunting, which requires one stick. So you literally climb up that stick to the top, hook a rope, a climbing gear item that you can't buy right now because of shortages. And you just hang there and then grab the stick and pull it up and hook it up again and climb up again and repeat the process over and over, and you can go as high as you want with one stick. Takes time. The item I'm trying to find is for repelling, and basically when you're done hunting, you can repel from the tree, and that's a lot quicker than taking the stick and going backwards like you did going forward. And plus, repelling looks like the fun part. But when you start getting into this, all this stuff costs money. You figure just this setup alone for the lineman's belt that I put together was around, 60, $70, and then that was $150. I mean, I haven't even gotten into the rest of that. Now, a saddle that sits around your butt and cradles you, it kind of looks like a diaper, and hooks you to the tree. Those can run anywhere from 100 to 370. I mean, they're expensive. And they all have different purposes and they all wear different. And when you don't have a clue what you're buying, because all this is new to me, you're guessing. And that's the sad part. And there's, saddles you wear that are one saddle and one's shaped like a football. And then you got double saddles. I mean, a lot of it's very confusing. And even the stick, there was lighter sticks I could buy that weighed a pound. One was made from titanium. The other one was made from carbon fiber. And the one from titanium, the guy had problems with screwing the foot to the titanium was breaking off. Well, that would be disappointing if all of a sudden you get out there and that breaks off and you can't get one now. And you got to wait a couple weeks when deer season's on. So stay away from that guy. He obviously didn't test his shit very good. And then the other guy made one out of carbon fiber and did all kinds of squeaking when you stood on it. Well, you don't want something like that because that's going to, it's like an alarm clock to the deer. Now, there is a better stick than the one I have bought. They come with pedestals on top, and you can really, get kind of crazy with those. And it looks like a really good stick, but the problem was, by the time you had everything on it, it was like $450, $500, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not spending that much. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, who knows? Maybe later, once I have everything, and then it's not such a, such a hit altogether. Because you think, I'm already into almost $250 just with the two things there. Now, the one thing I need is a Mad Rock repelling gadget, which allows me to rappel down from the tree. And I kind of need that. Because if I see a deer, and let's say he's not close enough, then I can rappel down and maybe get around him. And then maybe get him that way. Now, I've gone the way of saddle hunting instead of tree stand hunting. One, because of weight. And the other reason I like the idea is I'm hiding behind a tree. So you're sitting in a saddle connected to the tree with a rope. The tree's in front of you, and the deer's coming down. Well, when you look around the tree and see the deer, you can come out and get your shot. Movement is the biggest thing with deer hunting from back when I was younger. A lot of times you'd be sitting in a tree stand, and that deer would pick you up. Oh, he'd see you. Movement is everything. And this saddle hunting looks like you hide behind the tree. It gives you more cover, but it's not as comfortable as a tree stand because after all, even if you just sit in it, you're kind of pressed up against the tree. Some guys are wearing knee pads. So there's that to consider. But when you deer hunt, normally it's only for like 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours at night. I mean, deer aren't usually moving in the afternoon. They have been sometimes when I was younger, but the majority of the time, no. So they move morning and they move at night. And the trick is when you go in, you want to go in as quiet as possible. And because, if it's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, they're still bed down. They're sleeping. You could be, 100 feet from them. Now you want to climb that tree, and you got to climb that tree as quiet as possible. And you got to get up there and get everything hooked up. It's going to take you half an hour, especially if you're not used to it. And once you get all set up, now you need a gadget to hang your bow there. You need a gadget now if I take some cameras. I don't think I'll get very good video of the deer itself because you're shooting a long ways, and that would mean I would have to take a big lens, and all that stuff gets heavy. So the most I'm probably going to get is I take my 2 action cams with me. I mean, you'll see me. You might be able to see the deer in the distance if I zoom in. I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes because this is all brand new to me trying this. Now, I've deer hunted for years when I was younger with my dad, but all this new technology that they got out now, it's pretty cool. I mean, one stick, I can climb any tree anywhere. That is impressive. But you got to spend some money. You got to have some stuff, and especially if you want to be safe, like, making your own lines and rope and having this climbing stuff. I mean, just $45 for this gadget. I mean, it just makes things easier. And once you get up there, you want to make sure you're tied in. You want to make sure if something lets go or something lets loose, you feel completely safe. And it all costs money. Now, the thing is, once you get all this stuff, and there's some guys on YouTube, I look at them and they'll have 7 different sticks from 7 different companies, and they've got 4 of each. And I'm like, did you guys get these for free? Because, I mean, when you start adding these up, $400 or $500 a pop, and you got 6 of them from 6 different companies, I mean, it's like $2,400. I'm like, damn. Either that or they're just naturally rich. The other thing I see a lot of guys doing, a lot of these hunters, since I've subscribed to some of their videos, I mean, these guys got $15,000 tractors, they own their own land, they've got these food plots, they're planting soybean. I mean, when I look at all that, I'm like, what the hell? $20,000 to kill a deer? Now, if you're a farmer and you got a tractor already and all that stuff you already own, okay, fine. But you're still buying soybean seed. You're still turning over the land. You're still working it. I'm just like, wow, these guys really take their deer hunting serious. I mean, when I was younger, yeah, we set up some tree stands, but we watched for deer trails, scat. I mean, where they slept, where their beds were, when they were moving, which because they'll go a different way from morning till night. And bucks themselves normally don't come out in the open. A buck will send the does in. He'll send the females in. He'll say, go walk over there. I want to see if one of you bitches get killed. And he'll step back and watch. And if the does make it through, well, then he's like, oh, okay, it's safe for me to go through. Isn't that nice of him? But there's a little bit to watch it, and I do need to pick up a grunt horn. That comes in handy for if they're too far out, you can call them in a bit. That does work, especially in the rut. When the males are pissed and they're fighting for the females, you can get out. That's always worked in the past, so I'm sure it works now. And you want to shoot a deer when his head's down, not when his head's up. I mean, back in the old days when I shot with a bow and a deer had his heads up, I literally had deer do somersaults. I'm not kidding. Literally do a somersault, and the arrow just totally miss them. And they're amazing. But when there's heads down, and then you take a shot, and that's the ideal shot, they can't just jump. They just can't move out of the way. A deer can move out of the way of an arrow. And like I said, if their head's down and they're eating, then you take the shot. Chances are you're going to get it pretty good. But I have all the experience for hunting deer, but not for all this new gear that's come out. And gotta love YouTube when you can research all this stuff and take your time. So I picked up the Hunting Beast Gear stick, which I think is amazing. It is very well made from what I can tell. I really can't see anything breaking on that thing ever, especially how it's made out of air-collapsed aluminum. When they try to get lighter and lighter with gear, the problem is shit breaks, shit makes noises. There comes an end to where you can't go no further unless we find some new metal on an asteroid. And the same thing applies to hiking gear. You can get super, super light, but you got to be really delicate with it because you'll damage it or destroy it. There becomes that balance of weight and how good it's going to be made. And at the same time, my pack already runs 30 pounds. So I start adding another, 5, 8 pounds. I'm almost in the 40-pound mark, especially if I want to go for 4 days and I want to sleep out there and then I want to sneak into where I'm setting up. I may have to look into getting my pack lighter somehow because there's a lot there to carry. And Luna likes to go with me. So I'll probably have to leave her behind for deer hunting season, but other times when I just go hiking, I'll have to go with her. And I did talk about to a game warden. He suggested I get my small games license, which is $35 and comes with a fishing license if I want to take my bow every time I go hiking. I want to take the bow with me because I want to get used to the weight. I may do some target practice when I'm out there. And he says it would be too hard to sit there and try and explain yourself that you're only taking the bow for video purposes. You're better off to have the license so that way you don't have to have an argument or deal with it. I agreed. So I'm going to have to get that. But the technology that's going with the sticks, and they've basically melted climbing equipment into hunting, which is really cool on the direction that they've gone with hunting. I'm pretty impressed by all this. Now, if shit hits the fan and you're a prepper and you do hunt, if you don't have a stick, if you don't have a climbing rope, if you can't get up a tree, if you can't do this stuff, you're not going to want to be out there with a hammer and nails saying, hey, here I am. You kind of want to be going to be like stealth mode and be able to go back into the bush, set up, climb any tree you want, and be ready to go and be as quiet as you can be. And the time to buy stuff like this and learn it is now, because you're not going to get it if shit hits the fan. You're pretty much done. So, huntingbeastgear.com or the Aider I picked up, I'll put a couple links in the bottom. They are not affiliate links. They're just strictly to their websites. And you may want to consider that too if you're looking into doing some hunting for deer. Best way to hunt for deer is in a deer stand. That's been my experience my entire life. You can shoot from the ground, but it does take a little bit more work. Anyhow, we'll see how this progresses through the summer as I buy more items. And when I finally get everything I need, I'll take it out and I'll put it in the tree and climb the tree and show you how it works. 57 years old, I'm going to be climbing trees with sticks aiders and linemen ropes and crazy, crazy. But it's a lot of fun, and it definitely gives a whole new meaning to hunting deer, I'll tell you. I'll catch you guys on the next one.